Plus. Are you guys ready to rumble? Welcome back, guys, and I'm back again after a bit of a mini break. Work has been quite hectic, so I wasn't able to actually make the last few videos, but I'm back with a bang. Looking forward to this busy festive season schedule and move you guys up the ranks with some massive green arrows and some great FPL insights and strategy. But before I get into today's video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, as well as follow us on FPLA Plus Twitter at FPLA Plus on Twitter if you aren't following us already. Okay, so over to game week 15. How was your game week 15? I kind of had a bit of a mini red arrow, fell from about 304,000 slightly to 308,000. So that's sort of like more like a grayish arrow. Overall, it was okay. I never had any big hitters, as you can see. Besides Trent Alexander-Arnold, no one else really kept a clean sheet. Disappointing there with James with a good old solid 0. And then Mo Salah had some points there from Mo Salah for captaincy, so that wasn't too bad. Foden, an assist there from Foden. Antonio also an assist. And then Mbeumo finally with some points, also another assist. So no goals in my 11, but yeah, a couple of assists. So overall, it was slightly better than the average of 43. I never took any hits, so that was okay. But I wish I had either Bernardo Silva, Bowen or Son in. Those definitely would have actually given me a green arrow. But nonetheless, I've got 2 free transfers for the next game week, so that actually does hold me well. I've also got with me here FPL A Plus Junior. FPL A Plus Junior, welcome. How was your game week 15? How did you do?
Oh, it was great. Son rescued me there, and you just have to be aware that Son has scored, so just as a reminder.
Okay, now great. Yes, definitely. That's breaking news. That's happened. And how many points did you get?
I got 61 points.
Okay, no, that's a great score. No, that's brilliant. Okay, yeah, it just shows if you just make that that strategical move for these players that are informed, that have got good fixtures. Gradually that can actually get you up there. You just gotta sometimes hold on to them. They're not going to score every single game week, but the game weeks that they are going to score, they are going to move you up. So you just got to make sure that you are beating the people that are moving for them, and then also maneuvering and pivoting around the price changes, because sometimes you can be priced out. Okay, so then what is the plan for game week 16? So in terms of the back line, quite happy. Ramsdale at the back, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, James and Alonso. So quite a solid big at the back again. Alonso, he's been flagged, so hoping he's actually going to play. If Alonso doesn't play, then Mbeumo will come in. So I don't foresee making a change there. I've then got Jota, Mo Salah, and Foden as well. FPL A Plus Junior, I believe you were telling me about Foden earlier in the Champions League. Has Foden been injured, I understand?
Yes.
Okay, so Foden, I think there was a slight niggle that he had in the Champions League match today. So just be on the lookout for team news. If Foden is injured, because I see it almost as inevitable to have a Man City mid or attacker, I might possibly take the hit to get in Bernardo Silva. So I'll be keeping close to that news. Fortunately, that is affordable because Foden is more expensive. So hopefully that is not another injury news for the Man City team, and then I don't need to make a transfer. I've made 2 transfers. I made them slightly early last night because they were close to price rises. I brought in Dennis instead of Wang. So Dennis has been on form. He is one of the top goal involvements, I think, after Mo Salah, if I'm not mistaken. He's the second top goal involvement player this year. So that shows how brilliant he's been. I couldn't afford King. I might have preferred King because Dennis might go to the African Cup of Nations. I believe he's in the provisional squad. So yeah, but that's unfortunate, but it might be fortunate as well because Dennis has been outperforming King. Then the second transfer is I brought in Ronaldo instead of Kane, who's given me lots of pain. So Ronaldo, who I think he's definitely got the better performance levels compared to Kane. He's got the fixtures as well. He's got the manager that is also wanting Man United to press and to attack more. So that new manager bounce could also impact him favorably. And I think also there is a small bit of sensitivity around Messi winning the Ballon and Ronaldo not attending and not coming close. I think he was about 7th, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he wants to prove that he can actually firstly perform individually, and then secondly, his individual performance can hopefully take him to some sort of title, whether it's with Man United or with the national team. I'm not so sure if there's any national tournaments in the next year, but you never know. With Ragnick being in charge of Man United, they could potentially be a little bit, I won't say that they are contenders for the Champions League, but you never know. Like we saw with Chelsea a few years ago, where they were surprise winners. Anything can happen. You just need things to go your way, the draw, certain 50-50 results, and yeah, and all it takes is that to be able to lift a trophy. And yeah, so I definitely see Ronaldo as a player that will be eyeing sort of his goal scoring opportunities. And then we've got Antonio. So been a slightly disappointing. A lot of people have Bowen, but quite happy to keep Antonio. Many people will probably be considering the double up. Okay, so that's the team for now. Other players on the radar would be Bernardo Silva and Bowen. Those would be, I think, two very good players. And then if you don't want to go big at the back, there is Davies and there is Dallet, depending on if he keeps his place. And then there is also Son, but a lot depending from on the news with regards to COVID, because what we saw a few match weeks ago where he was positive and then they returned a negative test and then he suddenly played, caused lots of FPL chaos. It was actually news that was actually better not knowing that news, because many people rage transferred Son out and then he still ended up playing. And many people up to this day ended up still keeping Kane. So yeah, so just something just to keep in mind. Keep up to date with the news, what's happening, the closer to the deadline as possible. Okay, then moving on to effective ownership, the latest effective ownership. No surprises here. Mo Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jota, Cancelo, Reece James, all players I've got in my team. And then Rafinha, the only one I don't have in my team. Aaron Ramsdale, the goalkeeper. Tony, who's currently injured with COVID. Alonso, I've got in my team. Kane, I had in my team, transferred out. And then Smith Rowe, that's also injured. I don't think serious, but yeah, he's got some sort of niggle. Okay, and then very important to strategize whatever moves you're making, keep it aligned to what is your plan that you'd like to evolve your team to. Okay, so if you are looking at just one game week in isolation, you're not going to get to the ideal moves in 3 game weeks time, because then you're going to keep on changing. So you need to keep an eye on fixtures and form. Fixtures also very important. Some people prefer fixtures over form, some form over fixtures, but ultimately you need to look at a blend of both. And then obviously eye test as well and stats. Those are quite key. So just looking at the fixture ticker over here, looking at who's got the best fixtures, you'll see Liverpool, they have got some excellent fixtures coming up. So I think having 3 Liverpool players, 2 attackers like I've got currently, most people have got Salah and Trent, and then some people Jota. I'd say those are almost going to be essential for this run of games. After that, they are, I'd say they are even worthy to actually keep beyond that, because Liverpool is Liverpool, and they are one of the most attacking teams in the Premier League. And then Man City as well. Just look at that. excellent fixtures. I would say I'd recommend having one defender at least and one attacker, and if you can fit in a third player, either a defender or an attacker, I think that would actually be the cream on the top. And then if you're looking at Man United, look at those fixtures there. So it just happens to be that three top teams have like excellent fixtures in that period, and then CR7 Ronaldo, I think he would probably be very key. But also don't forget some of the defenders. I think with Ragnick they'll definitely be looking at more control, as you said, which could result in better defensive displays if they can actually sort of stabilize at the back, because they weren't the best at the start of the season. So keep an eye on the defenders as well. And then Chelsea, these are also pretty good fixtures. So if you've got Chelsea, I would say also two players would almost be essential. I've currently got two defenders, maybe not ideal. I could possibly, at some point maybe move to having an attacker, but because their fullbacks are basically like attackers, it's almost, for me, it's at this stage, the way they're playing, it doesn't really make a difference, because I'll get attacking points and hopefully defending points at the same time if they keep clean sheets and get attacking returns. Okay, so the other team to target is also Watford. Just have a look at these fixtures. They also look quite good. And those are bargain players as well that you can look for. I wouldn't go beyond Dennis and King. There is Hernandez, that also one of the attackers. He also looks quite good, the guy with the blonde hair. Other than that, no one else that really stands out. And then just also to note, what is also quite key to note is that keep in mind that Spurs, after whatever happens with this COVID outbreak, there could be, if the game takes place against Brighton over the weekend, then there's just one double game week. But if the game against Brighton does not take place, there could be two double game weeks. So what that could mean is that you need to keep an eye open at what points you can bring in Spurs players, because it will be very handy if you can have 3 Spurs players in your team, and most likely than not, most people will be going for Kane and Son as the first 2, and then third one possibly could be a defender, so someone like Davies or Reguilon. So keep an eye on that, because that would be something that you would need to try to pivot to get to maximize any potential double game week, or if there's a double game week. Okay, and then if you're looking at any other fixtures, just having a look at anybody else. Crystal Palace also, they also have pretty decent fixtures, so they are also certain players that you could consider. Conor Gallagher was sort of very much in form recently, but with the change in structure with some players that are injured, he's been playing a bit more deeper, so he hasn't been making those runs into the box like he has. So it cuts down on who you could bring in. Benteke had a run of form, but I personally won't bring him in, but he's somebody to keep an eye on, as well as Edouard, who had one brilliant match as well. And then there's also defenders. So if you're looking for a defender, or the goalkeeper in that period, those would also not be bad shots as well. Okay, and then Leeds, those fixtures looking pretty dark and nasty over there. So I think it's probably the best time to get rid of Rafinha, for any of you that have got Rafinha. But also keep an eye, on Rafinha and Bamford, because Bamford is back. He scored the last game week. So when the two of them are back, they can form a very lethal combination. So I would suggest keep an eye on them, and probably after game week 19, so game week 20 onwards, they could be considered. And then Leicester, bit of a mixed bag currently, performance-wise as well as fixtures. And just having a look at Norwich, not really what I would consider. And then West Ham, yeah, West Ham definitely have some nice fixtures coming up there. So I've got Antonio currently, and then I think Bowen has been sort of in sublime form. He's kind of like the target man at this stage, very, very pacey. So he definitely could do well. Wolves fixtures turn for the worse. So I'd say definitely this is the time to get rid of whoever's got Jimenez or Wang or any of the defenders. Take them out. There's better players out there for other teams that have got better fixtures. Okay, so the next game week, what's the plan? For game week 17, the plan is to bring in. Okay, so my plan is to bring in Bowen instead of Mabuemo. Okay, because if we're looking at Mabuemo, their fixtures, not the best, and he hasn't been in the best of form. Whereas if you look at West Ham, West Ham's fixtures start getting a bit easing up, and they'll definitely be up for the London derby. Okay, so doubling up over there. I couldn't afford to bring in another Man City mid, such as Bernardo Silva. Funds wouldn't allow me to. And then the other player is to bring in Dallet in place of Alonso so that I could afford Bowen. What do you think about those fixtures, Fpla Plus Junior?
I think that's a good idea.
Do you think so? Okay. Okay, no, that's great. Do you have Bowen in your team currently, or do you still need to bring him in?
I still have him actually.
You have him. Okay, no, great. Okay, so then let's look at the next game week. Okay, so looking at game week 18. Okay, so game week 18, the plan is to do nothing. Okay, sometimes if you have got good fixtures, then it's best just to park your team, carry forward 2 fixtures. Sometimes two free transfers are better than 1. Spread over 2 game weeks. You can do a bit more. Okay, so captain would be here. Surprisingly, I might go the route of going with Foden. I've just got to feel Foden against Newcastle. If he's still in the false 9 position, or even actually a striker position, not really a false 9, then yeah, that could be a great fixture. Probably slightly better than Salah against Conte. But Ronaldo's also got quite a decent fixture, and Antonio. So I think this game week there could be quite a split decision in captaincy. Not that Mo Salah won't be the majority captain's player. I'm sure he'll definitely still be, but I think there'll be a little bit more decisioning to be made by those that want to be a bit more differential. Okay, then going into the next game week, looking at game week 19. Okay, so we carry then 2 free transfers into game week 19. Utilize, let's see, okay. Utilize 1 transfer. As you'll notice, I've got King on my bench instead of Dennis. Okay, so that is to utilize a transfer, to burn that transfer. Mo Salah back captain again. Okay, then go over to game week 19. Oh, sorry, this is game week 20 now. Again, another luxury move. Okay, nothing much to do with the team. As you can see, the team looks pretty good as is. Okay, you agree, Fpla Plus? Okay, so then you'll notice minor change. A bench fodder, remove Allen, bring in Brownhill, because Brownhill, as you Fpla Plus, has got a double game week.
Yes.
So bring him in. You never know. You could possibly play him, even if he gets 2 points. 2 times 2 is 4. He's most likely to start on current form, and yeah, so that could be good. And he actually costs about 0.1 million cheaper as well, so you're actually saving as well. Okay, then over to the next game week. Game week 21. We've just got a one more after that. Okay, so then looking at game week 21. Okay, you won't believe this. This is another luxury transfer. Okay, well, this is, keep in mind, guys, this is all in an ideal world. A lot could happen between now and then. There could be injuries in the team. There could be players that are dropped. There could be COVID outbreaks. There could be lots of other things. But if keeping all things equal, and if it goes according to an ideal scenario, then these are the transfers that I would like to do. So then I would take out Steer, who's a non-playing goalkeeper, bring in Foster. Hopefully Foster's back by then. So if you do need him for the second half of the season, you've got a backup goalkeeper. And also keep in mind, Watford have got a couple of nice fixtures, Newcastle and Norwich. And then if you look at Arsenal, they've got Tottenham and Burnley. So I'm tempted to play a Watford goalkeeper there instead of playing Ramsdale there. Well, Ramsdale is brilliant so far. So it's still going to be a close call. But and then there's a Norwich match also versus Burnley. So yeah, there's a couple of decisions and options, that one could make potentially. Okay, and then let's look at the last game week. Oh, by the way, Ronaldo was my captain in that previous game week. That was against Wolves, because Salah is playing Chelsea. So it doesn't mean Salah can't score. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be captaining Salah, but just a rough plan. I'm considering captaining Ronaldo in. Okay, and then in this game week again, game week 22, another luxury transfer. But this is a bit more of a need than a want, I'd say. This is taking out Livramento finally and bringing in Davies. So keep in mind what I said about trying to plan to bring in strategic moves for Spurs players, double game week. So that's the reason. As you can see, Southampton's fixtures start worsening, whereas Spurs fixtures, Spurs fixtures, they start getting a bit better, except for probably this one over there. Okay, so they are slightly better, plus there's the benefit of the double game week. Okay, and then Salah most likely captain against Brentford, but Ronaldo could not be a bad shot as well. And then who knows, depends on Bowen's form as well at that point in time. Okay, so I don't think the African Cup of Nations is yet then. I think it's probably just about after that. I speak in the correction, but if Mo Salah, if this does coincide with the AFCON, then Mo Salah could possibly be the one that there could be the transfer out and an alternative player brought in, someone such as Harry Kane or Lukaku, because Chelsea's, okay, keep in mind Chelsea's, you also want to make sure that you don't have too much Chelsea players when you are looking at game week 24 and 25, where they are blanking because of the Club World Cup commitments. So that's why it's actually not a bad idea to start planning to get rid of some of the Chelsea players and bring in some other players. So I could replace James quite easily with someone like from Man City. So I think that's a definite move that I could also have made instead of bringing in Davies. Okay, so that's basically the planning schedule. And then price rises, quite important, so that you know who to bring in. Let's just quickly have a look at the price rises, Fpla Plus.
Yes, indeed.
Have you made any early transfers, or must you still make your transfers for this game week?
I just made a bit of early transfers, but I'm like for sure what my place is gonna everything's gonna go well with my players.
Is it? Have you got Kane or have you got Ronaldo in your team? Have you got Ronaldo?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't need to make a transfer then. So yeah. Okay. So let's just give this a second just to refresh. Okay. Somehow it seems to be not refreshing. Just give it a moment. .co.uk. Murphy's Law, huh? When you Expect it to work. Doesn't seem to work. Okay, let's try it again. Good old Google. Something's happening, something's happening. I think it's going to work this time. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so firstly, we've got Bernardo Silva, who is due for a rise. You don't have Bernardo in your team, eh?
No.
Okay, so yeah, he's definitely someone I'm considering to bring in. Dennis, I brought him in already in Ronaldo, so they are looking like they are likely to rise tonight. So great that I brought him in. Just holding thumbs that they don't get injured or anything. So other than that, and then Bowen, you've got Bowen in your team, great Fpla Plus Junior. So Bowen's also likely to rise. So guys, bring Bowen in. Strong recommendation if you can. I've got Antonio, so unfortunately I can't afford Bowen yet. So yeah, so that looks great. And then let's see, anybody else? Dear, there's King. King's also actually up for an increase soon, so I've got to keep that in mind. And then price drops. We look at Trossard, Jimenez. Yeah, for Jimenez owners, time to transfer him out. Duffy owners, St. Maximum, Anderson, Tielemans, Target, Streak. Okay, no one else that's a major player over there. Okay, now that's that. And then lastly, let's look at the Fpla Plus Super League. So guys, I would like to give a congratulations at this point to Dollable Stern, who's still holding on to the #1 position. Well done, Dollable Stern. A 22-point lead ahead of Save Your Tears, Joking Joel. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. But well done. You're a new name in the top here, so you're doing also pretty well and trying to chase down Dollable Stern. Then in third place we've got Jordan Awokani. In fourth place FPL Experts. Fifth place we've got Selim Mela. Sixth place we've got Samson Kyoko. Seventh place Sanjay Khatri. Eighth place Magabamena Adira. Ninth place Obina Okoli. And then 10th place Omondi Eliazar. Well done guys in the top 10. For those outside of the top 10, keep on chipping away. You guys will definitely also be able to get your opportunity to get into the top 10. But for those that are holding on to the top 10 places, well done again. Keep it up. Okay, so guys, that is the show for today. I just keep in mind price rises, team news, very important. Try not to make early transfers if you can avoid them. Keep an eye on Champions League matches, and then also just tactically plan your moves well in advance so that you know which moves you are making and that you are not just bringing in players for one game week. So keep that in mind. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter at FPLA Plus. Feel free to do so. Any questions, comments, put that in the comments below or send it to me on Twitter. And also please like and subscribe this video. We'll really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. So that's it from me. All the best for Game Week 16. Cheers, guys.